Hi, welcome to the Finbus channel. This is Shamil Sajjad, your friend. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 different ways in which you can participate and invest in the stock markets. Yes, we have more than one way to participate in the stock markets. Which method you adopt, one or more of them, depends on different factors like your capital, the time that you have in your hands to dedicate to the market, and also your risk profile. All of these methods have different way of operations. The risk associated with them are different, and also the return profile, the possibility of making high returns or lower rates of return are also different. Anyway, knowing these different methods will enable you to take informed decisions regarding how you should be participating in the stock market, and also define the way you want to interact with the stock markets. Without this information, people might happen to jump into the wrong kind of instruments which are not suitable for them, and will not be able to find that particular vehicle or instrument which is right for them. So, let us look at and understand the different ways in which we can participate in the stock market, invest there, and also do trading activities. The first and the most popular method is that of mutual funds. What are actually mutual funds? Mutual funds are registered and qualified institutions which pool money from the public on a very large scale and float different schemes according to the requirements of the investor community and the possibilities in the market, and invest this money that is pooled from the public in the stock market and also in other financial instruments. They issue units to the public in return of the money that they have taken. These units represent the value of the investments made by the public. The value is represented by a value called the net asset value or the NAV, which tells you the price of a particular unit on a particular market day. The pooled money are moved into an investment trust where the money is kept under the regulation of the Securities and Exchanges Board of India. That means the money that is pooled from the public is not used by the company, which is called the asset management company, for its own operations. That is not possible from a legal point of view. The money that is pooled from the investors have to be strictly invested in the market according to the scheme information document of the particular scheme that this particular mutual fund has floated. The advantages of mutual funds are many, and it is also the most popular method of investing in the stock markets for common people. The first advantage of mutual fund is that you don't have to dedicate time to your investments. You don't have to observe the markets on a regular basis. You don't have to track the stocks that you have invested in on a regular basis, because there is a full-time qualified fund manager who is doing that for you. He is tracking the market on a full-time basis, making investments for you, tracking them, making churning of investments, and always trying to give you the best possible outcome from your investments. The second advantage of mutual funds is that it helps you to diversify your investments to a large number of companies, which you will not be able to do with your limited capital on an individual basis. Suppose you have 10,000 rupees with you. How many companies can you buy with 10,000 rupees? Not more than 5 meaningfully. But when you invest that money in a mutual fund, you are investing in a very large corpus which has already diversified its investment into a very large number of companies. And your money becomes a part of that particular corpus, and whatever diversification that corpus has achieved becomes your diversification also. The third advantage with mutual funds is that investments can be made in a lump sum, that is, when you have some funds available with you, and also on regular intervals, which is popularly known as the systematic investment plans. You can also give standing instructions with your bank to debit a particular amount of money and pass that into your mutual fund investments. One another important advantage with mutual funds is that it offers a wide variety of investment options to the investor community to choose from according to their risk return profile. For example, older people might like to invest in more debt based instruments rather than equity based instruments because equity based instruments carry a higher rate of risk, whereas debt related instruments has got the possibility of providing them with a more regular income and also fluctuate less with the movements of the market. The second method to invest in the stock markets is through ULIPs, that is unit linked insurance plans. Just like mutual funds, unit linked insurance plans are also mutual fund investments, but on top of the mutual fund investments, you will be receiving an insurance coverage. The insurance coverage is the additional benefit in the ULIP, and the proportionate charges of ULIPs are higher than the charges of mutual funds. ULIPs work like this. There will be a maturity period to the investments. Let us say it is 7 years. Every year you will have to pay a premium which can be split into quarterly, half yearly or annual payments. The money that goes as premiums will be invested in a mutual fund scheme after the deduction of insurance charges and other administrative charges. This particular investment will have an NAV, that is the net asset value, just like the mutual funds. But the difference here is that in case of the unfortunate death of the insured, he will be eligible to a payment called the sum assured, which is usually 10 times that of the yearly premium that he is paying. If the scheme meets maturity, he will be receiving the fund value which is expressed by the NAV at that particular point in time. In the case of death of the insured, the amount that he will be receiving will be the sum assured, which is 10 times that of the premium that he is paying, or the fund value, whichever is higher. ULIPs are a great class of products, an invention of the financial engineering community, and is very valuable to all classes of investors because they are getting the dual benefits of insurance and also investments through this particular asset. ULIPs also have an option for you to add riders to that, where you will be able to cover your medical expenses, hospitalization charges, etc. The third method is the very basic method of buying shares or securities to your demat account, or trading in the stock markets directly by the individual. You can open a demat account with a particular depository participant. That is, the trading account and demat account comes in a combination these days, and whatever shares you are buying will get credited to your demat account in your ownership. Whenever the price is favorable, you can sell and book the profits. Direct buying of shares is the very basic method on which all the other products and instruments are based upon. It is the basic activity in a stock market, that is the buying and selling of shares and other securities. In India, basically there are two stock exchanges, the National Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange, where all the buying and selling of shares happen. The Bombay Stock Exchange is the oldest stock exchange in the whole of Asia, and the National Stock Exchange is one of the largest stock exchanges in the whole world. In order to trade in the stock markets, as I already told you, one needs to open a trading account and a demat account. In order to participate meaningfully in the markets, a person has to take out the time to learn about the fundamentals of the market, how securities are valued, what are the fundamentals of a particular company, and how technical analysis is done, at least from a basic point of view. Otherwise, stock markets can prove to be risky, and a person who is not knowledgeable or is completely ignorant about the stock markets tend to make investment and trading mistakes which might result in losing of capital. But if a person takes out the time to understand the fundamentals of the markets and also the tools available for analysis of securities, stock markets can be mastered by anybody who wants to do it in a meaningful way. The fourth way to participate in the stock markets is through futures. Futures are standardized contracts on the stock exchange. Futures are floated by the stock exchange on those companies which the stock exchange deemed to be eligible based on certain set of criteria. In futures, the shares are bundled into lots. For example, the futures of a company might have 100 shares, 200 shares, 300 shares in it based on the price of the share, and you cannot buy futures for one share or two shares. You can always buy futures in lot sizes. The most attractive thing about futures is that futures require only a margin to be paid by the stock exchange for entering into such contracts. That is, you have to pay only a fraction which is stipulated by the stock exchange in order to buy the whole lot. For example, if a lot of futures is costing 2 lakh rupees and the margin requirement is 10 percentage, you have to put up only 20,000 rupees to buy the full lot. You can keep the futures contract till the date of expiry, which is the last Thursday of every month. Now, what is the advantage of buying a futures contract? Evidently, it is the leverage that is the most attractive part of a futures contract. You are paying only 20,000 and you are getting the holding of a contract which is worth 2 lakh rupees. Now, if you happen to make 10% return on the futures contract, it will be effectively 100% for you because you have only paid 10% of the whole requirement of the futures contract and your return will be calculated on that money. It is this leverage that makes futures very attractive for traders. But the downside of futures is that if your expectations and your directional view of a particular stock or of the market goes wrong, you can suffer losses also at the same scale. That is, you will find your capital vanished by a relatively smaller price movement which you could have held with you and corrected in future days if you were in a cash position. So, futures contract, while having the high potential of returning you higher rate of returns, has got the possibility of incurring huge losses. The next method through which you can participate in the stock markets is the options. Options are just like futures but comes with a slight difference. That is, the option to exercise the contract lies with the buyer of the contract. There are basically two types of options: call options and put options. In a call option, the buyer of the call option retains the right with him to exercise the buying power. That is, if he finds the market or the movement of a particular share suitable to his directional view or his assessment of the price movements, he can buy the shares. In a put option, he can exercise this right for selling the shares, but he does not have the obligation to buy or sell. So basically, we can understand that in an option, there is leverage and also an option with the buyer of the contract whether to exercise that particular contract or not. Options are also riskier instruments in the market because of the presence of leverage, and also the option matures on a particular date. The sixth way of investing in the stock markets is through PMS, or Portfolio Management Services. Portfolio Management Service works more like a mutual fund, but there is a major difference that there will be a dedicated investment manager for you. He will be talking to you on a personal level, understanding your investment requirements and making the investments according to your own specific individual requirements. So, it is very evident that the investment requirement in a portfolio management service will be higher than that of a mutual fund scheme. In a mutual fund scheme, the investment manager actually manages the investment of a very large number of people, and there is no customization available in mutual funds. The fund will be investing according to its own objectives, but in a PMS, the investments will be made according to the risk return profile of the investor. The minimum requirement for a PMS account to be opened by any institution is fixed at 50 lakh rupees by Securities and Exchange Board of India. So PMS is an investment mechanism that is suitable only for high net worth individuals. The seventh method to invest in the markets is through hedge funds. Hedge funds are basically unregistered institutions which pool the capital of individuals and invest that particular amount in the market. Hedge funds usually target high net worth individuals, but there is no technical barrier regarding the amount of money that participants can invest in hedge funds. Hedge funds can even be started by a group of friends who want to collectively invest in the market. As there is no regulatory requirement by the SEBI that hedge funds need to be registered with the Securities and Exchange Board of India, hedge funds can take any form and employ any strategy for trading and can be accommodating any kind of people regardless of their net worth. I hope this short video was useful to you in understanding the basic methods of participating in the stock markets. We will be looking at each of them in greater detail in coming videos. Till then, till we meet again, it's bye from me. You take care.